Daily World Walk, number 7. Number 7, Daily World Walking. It's your host, Tim Niederreiter, and it is raining, but I'm walking. Just for a little bit. And I'll be talking with you for a little bit of that. So, I'm not really feeling, again, like yesterday, but I'm just going to admit it this time, I'm not really in the mood to build a new world. I've got to focus on some of my existing stuff because I'm writing a novel right now, as I always am. But today, I find that the focus is going to be part of our discussion here. So this is more of a writing discussion than even a world building one. But bear with me, okay? Please. So when I'm writing a book, I have often not acknowledged that when I'm writing a book, I need to focus on it. I need to get my head squarely in that world, because I write fantasy, in that concept, involved with the characters, all that stuff. And I mean, I have ADHD, and my autism made it hard for me for many years to really focus on characters, because I didn't really understand people that well. Got over most of that, but the ADHD is still there. Kind of makes it hard to stay focused. That's one of the reasons I started a podcast like this, where I just wanted to brainstorm. But as it turns out, it's actually kind of counterproductive. Because if I'm going to brainstorm something like the Sea of Tranquility, I'm going to want to write it eventually if I do a good job. And that was starting to happen. Which is probably why my subconscious was telling me, you got to cut this out. You can't keep building this world of magic robots and oceans and stuff. It's all so interesting off the top of my head, because it's just diluting kind of my attention that I can put into the book that I am writing. And I think that's pretty fair. It's a little frustrating, right? Because I always want to do different stuff. I mean, I get distracted so easily because I like so many things. And that's a good thing, actually. Liking a lot of stuff is good. I think it's a controversial opinion maybe, but probably not. But I think being positive is useful. And I think being a thinker, a creator who makes stuff compulsively is also useful. But there's a limit, right? I mean, the ability to make stuff that I need to make is also there. Because I do want writing to be my career someday. I mean, I have a career as a writer, but my job, it's not. You know, I have to work a day job. I have to do all this stuff. And it's because, in part, I've never focused that heavily on a single universe. At least I think that's part of it. A single setting, a single story world, you might say. Depending on your vernacular. So, if I want to make stuff that is going to get out there, and this has been my focus for the last several years, in fact, basically since I decided to go independently as an author and publish my own stuff, I have ended up with a bunch of, semi-finished series and stories that just aren't complete, and I think I keep changing series, and I keep putting things off, and I keep switching to new stuff because it's shiny, right? I mean, I'm doing the classic problem of a writer, except that I finished 2/3 of a series or a quarter of a series, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done for now. Well, I'll go back to it later, and then so far, no dice really on that last part. And so worlds are my passion, but stories kind of are also very important, right? Stories are very important to me. Focusing on the same set of characters for a few books, 3 to 6 books or more even, is important, and it's hard. I mean, at least for me, right? Like I'm saying, some people think it'd be tough to make worlds and make settings just out of nowhere like I do all the time. When I just have a different problem, right? It's not that this isn't a problem. It's just a different one. And so I hope you'll all acknowledge that. I mean, I hope you'll understand that, because I have to acknowledge that. Yeah, having a skill that you can't control is also the same as having a master that is inside your own head. A skill that wants to be used And that maybe is part of it. It's the affordance, right? It's the game mechanics term, like an affordance. It's the ability to, you have an ability to do something, and therefore you want to do it. Or there's an urge to do it. Because you have the ability, and it can be summed up, I guess, when you have a hammer, you start looking for nails. Or, obviously, if you're in the most extreme example, everything starts looking like a nail. So, it's kind of my 2 cents. But as far as world building goes, I have been working on, I guess, in the back of my head. I mean, I haven't been working on it much consciously, but the world of Coma, which has got 3 short stories in it right now, but it's also the setting of the nation of Coma, really, but it's the world that it's in. It's important to me. And the nation is, there's 3 stories set there right now, which is, I believe the first one is Smoke, the second one is called The Light, and the third one is called Coil, and they're all kind of a mini-series. Series of little stories about these side characters from the novel I'm working on. And I found it very refreshing to write it, and I'm enthusiastic about that story, about the novel, which is, a third to a half done, depending on how long it ends up being. And it's kind of this Egypt meets samurai thing. So I'm going to just talk about it a little bit here. Except the rain's intensifying. Maybe I'll get back to you, but no, forget it. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it. Let's hope the voice recorder can keep up in the rain. So, so in Coma, we have Coma, Khoma. It's like an Egypt kind of setting, ancient Egypt. It's kind of the vibe. We got pharaoh-type characters. We got warrior classes and stuff. Because it's like ancient Egypt meets feudal Japan. It's kind of the idea I was working with as this core jumping off point. And then a lot of the warriors, like the samurai equivalents, have magical abilities in the course of the story, of course. More abilities are discovered and things like that. But the magical power is not directly related to fighting power. It's not like they're just magically good swordsmen or whatever sort of people. No, they are part of this. There are some of them that are part of this kind of subset called name bearers who have earned their name in battle, and a subset of those wield magical abilities because they have a magical talent, a spell talent that they can use in battle, and that's what makes them, a lot of those people makes them name bearers, right? So it's basically the start of the core of the concept. But the concept itself sprang from, this is a great example of, I wanted a world where a particular scenario would take place and would make sense. And I had a scenario in my head, honestly, which is all based off a few random misheard lyrics from way back in the day. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Iron Maiden, where good old Bruce, lead singer of Iron Maiden, sang, "Around his neck, the dead bird is hung." In a reference, of course, to the mariner who's being thrown overboard. But I misheard it, right? For many years. Or not misheard, but I imagined other alternatives. What else can you hang around a guy's neck when you're punishing him? Would it be, and it would be the thing, his crime, right? So anyway, don't want to get too into it. No more spoilers. That's a big spoiler for the first quarter of the book. But we'll get there. And I'll get back home. And I'll let you know how things go tomorrow. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.